Have you traveled a lot? When I was 12 years old, I got to travel to one of the most amazing places I've ever been. Israel. I don't know how I was sent there by myself. I know, it sounds crazy. However, it happened. And I want to share with you some of the interesting adventures I had at 12 years old because I don't know if I've shared the story with many people. And I want to share it with you. I want to share the fears that I've had, the amazing moments I had, the love that I felt, and just the richness of all kinds of things that I've experienced, from the food to the places. I was 12 years old. I was excited. I was scared, but so excited. The scariest thing was the in-between spaces. Was I gonna make it to the next place? Or would I perish in the in-between? The first challenge was the plane flight, the longest plane flight I ever experienced in my life. Hours and hours and hours. And I got to sit in a very special seat with other children traveling by themselves. A sweet little girl and boy. I think they were brother and sister. And it was such a sense of independence. Us children, we were spoiled. The stewardess, she loved us. She was so pretty and fun and nice. And she checked on us constantly. It was amazing. And the thing about El Al is that they had special tiny little sodas. And I loved the cans so much. And I saved them because they were nothing like I had ever seen before. I came home with 5 or 6 little mini sodas. It was one of my most valued collections. is spring. Aviva is spring. The feminine version of spring. That's why we add an ah. An ah in Hebrew makes it feminine. Ah. What I noticed about most of the places where I stayed was there were a lot of futons and beds that came out of the wall because it was good for space, or beds that came out from a drawer. One of the first families I stayed with, the little boy, he always said, Ima, Ima, lama lo, Ima, which means, Mom, why not? Why not? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? He was such a cute little boy. And you know what? His face looks very similar to my friend Victor from Golden Drops Cafe, now that I think about it. I have a photo album filled with pictures from my journey. Pictures of falafel and the people I stayed with. I'll get to that in a minute as I look at these beautiful pictures. But first, I want to tell you something else about Tel Aviv. I had a profound awakening. About Israeli fashion. Oh, for the first time in my life, I found clothing that hugged my body and felt like it belonged on my body. You see, Israelis, we have big muscles. So my shoulders always felt so tight. Even as a 6-year-old girl, my shoulders, my biceps, they were big and they were not comfortable in American dresses. And Israel taught me that clothing can be made for your body. Your body, yes. Your body is beautiful. Your body is perfect, just how you are. Your beautiful body. Hugging my body was this Israeli clothing. There was no clothing that I liked better than the clothing I've got in Israel. And the sandals. The leather sandals that fit like a glove on my foot. Like bands of a glove with one toe hugged. Oh, those beautiful Israeli sandals. I wish I still had them. Where is my clothing and my sandals? Oh, where can they be? I must get them again. All over me. Hugging me. Almost like I'm naked. Like I'm not wearing clothing. That's how good it feels on me. But I am wearing clothing and it feels like a hug. walking in those sandals felt so supportive and so filled with love. Maybe the fibers of the clothing, maybe they had more love. I traveled on the bus and the van to these different places. I remember the cooking of one of my cousins was so good. So good and filled with such good smells of fried chicken and so many wonderful things. Oh, the smell of food. While I was in the basement with my cousins, and they were trying to get me to say curse words in Hebrew. I will not repeat them now. We laughed and laughed, and the craziest thing was that I hardly spoke, but I had so much joy because not many of them spoke English. Another thing in Tel Aviv and other places is that breakfast was very different. Breakfast was filled with sweetened syrup water and chocolate spread. Chocolate spread on toast. And I was asked, what flavor syrup would you like in your water this morning? They had so many yummy flavors that I didn't even recognize, like sabres, the cactus juice. So, wow, that's something that we don't have in America. That's syrup. I wouldn't eat it now because I don't eat sugar, but it was really fun. So the last thing I want to there's a few more things I want to share. I would like to share now one of probably the most nurturing parts of the whole trip was staying with my Aunt Clary. I have to look at her picture. This strong woman gave me so much love. She let me garden with her. She called me beautiful. She showed me off to her neighbors. She let me have instant coffee with her. It was actually one of the first times I ever had coffee. Of course, I was 12. We had the most delicious vanilla flavored creamy instant coffee. And we sipped it was here for it. She cooked a soup all day long with the vegetables I picked from the garden and the potatoes I helped her chop. She said to go to sleep as she cooked, and I did. Falling asleep to the TV reruns of the Brady Bunch. And then, for dessert, after I had the most delicious soup of my life, we had something called Schlishkan. Schlishkan. It's a potato dough, donut fried potato dough thing that I've had before, but me and my siblings would fight over it. There was never enough. But when I stayed with Aunt Clary, yes, I had as much as I wanted and I ate. And I was so full. Ooh. And I looked up and there was Aunt Clary with her fork with the last piece of Schlishkan saying, Eat. And I said, I can't. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I just have one more very important thing to share about my journey to Israel when I was 12. And that is the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea. That gave me so much life. I floated in salt. Have you heard of the Dead Sea? Oh, and I haven't even told you about Jerusalem. You know what? Let's end this story for now. And next time, I'm going to tell you about Jerusalem and the Dead Sea. Laila Tov. Good night. Sleep tight. Shalom. May peace be with you. Sad, just think about my Aunt Clary with a fork up to your face, going with the most delicious